my name's Karen Yeager. I'm the Dean of Studies at Knox Grammar School. I'm also President of English Teachers Association, New South Wales, and I'm a former Supervisor of HSC Marking. And I was a head teacher for a number of years. So I'm bringing that experience to talk to you about the area of study discovery. The section I'm about to look at now is the creative or imaginative writing. And for some reason, this seems to be the one that everyone in the state actually fears the most, and it shouldn't be. It's the one if you're reading widely, if you're dipping into a whole lot of text, you're delighting in the sound and feel of words, it's actually quite easy. And seriously, everyone can do the craft of writing. What you need to do is take craft and actually make it artistry. And that's the process you need to be working on now before the high school certificate. I want you to imagine, I'm going to use this analogy simply because my husband was a TAS teacher and I wrote programs with him. If you're being taught as a boy or a girl to use a box joint, that just means when you make a jewellery box, you just bang them together. It's pretty easy. Bit of glue, you can do it easily. That's craft. But if you want to get better marks, if you want it to look beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, you'll do a dovetail joint. So that actually means you'll chisel them with a slant chisel and they'll slide in like this so beautifully and the whole box is lifted to artistry. That's what you've got to do with writing. You start with the words and the sentences and you play with them. You add the imagery. You be aware of the sound and feel of every word that you use. And you are going to improve your writing so quickly and so rapidly. I'm starting with something I think that you read in the Marking Centre feedback and you hear teachers say, they always say to you, don't tell me, show me. And most students go, what on earth does that mean? I'm going to use Chekhov. Chekhov is a fabulous writer, short story writer, Russian, so you can dip into his texts online. Don't tell me the moon is shining. Show me the glint of light on broken glass. That's showing. So the one thing I want to talk about in writing is that I want you so aware of your senses wide open and aware of what is around you. See the world, listen to people. Notice their mannerisms. And I'm going to move through how we do this creative writing, and you'll find it's actually fairly easy. There's a whole lot of different words we can use for discovery, all synonyms for discovery that can actually inspire you to do some very different writing. So, easy one, exploration. And that could become a little bit cliched. I can imagine us all hopping in a boat, around about Captain Cook's time probably, and sailing off towards Australia and actually talking about our discovery. Trust me, unless you've been there, it's not going to work. Unless you've read all of Captain Cook's journals. You are better writing about your own authentic experiences or what you've read and experienced widely. I really like the notion of rediscovery because one thing that markers really like at the Marking Centre for Creative Writing is shifts in time. So one way to get shift in time happening in your writing is actually through rediscovery, or the second one, self-discovery. So for example, you could start in the past, and you could come forward, or you could just be you now, at 17 years of age. Imagine that you actually found a photograph. You looked at that photograph, maybe it's black and white, and you asked mum or dad, who's this next to you? And suddenly a story is told, and you're transported back. And in the telling, your mother or father rediscovers the past they'd actually suppressed or forgotten or deliberately lost. Then you return to you with a photograph in your hand, and perhaps that photograph just flutters to the ground, and that's the end of the story. And the reader is left to wonder what follows next. It could be about an epiphany. Epiphany means suddenly you see the light. There is a change, a transformation in you. It could be that eureka moment, which is so famous. Aha, this is amazing, that wow moment. Suddenly the light bulb goes on and you get it. That's really interesting. Has it ever happened to you driving the car? Maybe you've got your license. You're driving the car and the music's going and suddenly what your science teacher was telling you in physics just clicks and you get it. Or maybe it's calculus that you absolutely dread with 2-unit maths. And suddenly you're driving again and this song comes on and you listen to the rhythm and the beat. And suddenly calculus, for some reason, all starts to fall into place. Do you know, believe it or not, that actually can be quite a fascinating story because mathematics is actually a beautiful basis for story writing. You can talk about an awakening, or serendipity is a good one. Serendipity just happens to happen. Or if you look at zablininity, that's actually when it happens and you'd rather it didn't. And the last one is an anagnorisis. An anagnorisis is self-discovery. It's that moment when you suddenly get it. And you not only just get it, you say, I embrace it, I understand, and I'm going to move forward as a result. And so that could be the end of your story. It could be the very final moment in your story.